But no, why wouldn't men want to commit? That's a good question. I think it's women as well. So a lot of women don't want to commit now, maybe.
Do you think a lot of women don't want to commit anymore as well?
Yeah, I think it's maybe both. But I'm really not sure on the answer. Have you got an opinion that would be good of why they don't want to commit?
Why, guys or girls?
Yeah, both.
Girls, I think... I'll start with the ladies first. I think if a girl doesn't want to commit, it's because she feels she can do better. I think if she came across a guy that she's like, this is my guy, as in like, this is the kind of guy I've always seen myself with,
Okay.
she would commit. I don't think she'd be like, oh, I found the kind of guy I want to be with, but I'm going to pause it here because I think we know how selective and picky women are in comparison to men. So if you come across that 1 in 50, 1 in 100 guy in the past 3 years, like you're gonna take that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Guys, more guys want to commit, but the guys who are really desirable, less so. Partly, I think, for a few reasons. One, I think that if he's not in a place to settle down and he's the kind of guy who has a level of optionality and abundance with women, there's no real incentive for him to commit to one woman.
Yeah.
Because if a guy's not looking to build a family and legacy at that stage in his life, a lot of the time, the best deal for him is to have his freedom, but he can still have a level of sexual variety.
Yeah.
So if he can be sleeping with 1, 2, 3, 4 women, but he doesn't have to commit to any of them, and he can always be open to making new connections with others, he's going to do that. You know, if he's the kind of guy who's desirable enough to do that, until he's ready to settle down or just have one person. And then, you know, time is quite important for guys, I'd say. And I'd say the other thing is, and I'm just speaking on behalf of the men, what they say, they would say less women are girlfriend material nowadays.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What makes them less girlfriend material?
I think, and I'm just speaking what a lot of guys say, I think a lot of women come to guys with demands, like you have to be this, 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 you have to do this, this, this for me. If you don't, that's the bare minimum, right? And so I think it comes across as very entitled because guys are like, okay, so what are you doing? Like, how are you adding to my life? Like, I'm bringing all this, what you adding to my life? So I think a lot of guys, and I think, and I say this with guys, that's not every woman, but I think there's a correlation between how attractive she is by Instagram conventional standards to the level of what she expects from the man. Because she'll be getting so much attention, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm sure you've had this guy's offering to fly you out to Dubai, to China, whatever, purely because you're an attractive woman. Like, we have so much access now. If you have a girl who's used to that so much, and then you have this normal, decent guy, right? Let's say he's attractive and he's like, hey, like, I'd like to get to know you. Why don't we like grab a coffee and go for a walk? She'd be like, grab a coffee and go for a walk. I have 10 guys trying to fly me out. I have the Arabic prince wanted to buy me a tiger. Like, why would I accept that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think for a lot of guys, it can come across because of access, a lot of women have been spoiled with offers and favors purely because of, and they don't realize this. They think it's because he really wants me. It's like, nah, he just wants to sleep with you, like, a lot of the time. But because they've been spoiled with that, I think their expectations have gone up in terms of what they expect a man to bring. And so guys are like, well, I'm not a rich Arabic prince. Also, if I'm bringing some things, like, do you not want to reciprocate in some other way as well? I think that's what guys say. And then the other thing is, you know, because it's much more difficult to be desirable as a guy today, because, you know, there's like a list, right? Because the average guy could get a girlfriend. Like 30 years ago, the average guy could get in a relationship with the average girl. He can't do that anymore because the average girl is indulging sexually with above average guys. And so for her, she wants that guy, right? So the average
What do you mean, like, with above average guys? Like, what do you mean?
So, how can I say this? Okay, I don't like to use these numeric ways of saying it, but you like numbers, so I'm going to do it because you'll get it. You know how people will rate people out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of attractiveness. So we're talking purely attractiveness, not character, personality, just on looks. So when guys are just looking for sex, they lower their standards.
Yeah.
So a guy who's an 8 out of 10, he would only really get in a relationship with a girl who's also an 8 or above.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe a 7. But a guy who's an 8 out of 10 would sleep with a girl who's a 5 or 6, but he would never commit to her.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think a lot of women think guys date the same way they do, in a sense. Not all, but I think for a lot of women, tell me what you think. If they would be physical with a guy, they would at least consider him for a relationship. Like he's at least a contender.
Yeah.
And then maybe because of his personality, maybe because he's not in a good place in life at the moment, maybe she's like, okay, those things is what disqualifies him, right? But if she would be physical, if she would sleep with him, then she would be open to the potential. And a lot of girls think guys date that way, and they don't. They don't. There are some girls that guys just go, well, this is just physical. It doesn't matter how amazing she is. This is just physical. And so that's what I mean. Women can use sex to get access to guys who wouldn't actually consider them for a relationship. And men can use money to do that with women. Like men can use money to get access to women who would never normally consider them.
Women control access to sex. Men control access to marriage.
That's very true. That's exactly it. So, and that's because we have all this access now.
Yeah.
So like if you have an average girl, again, out of 10, technically average is 5, right? That's average. That's the middle. So if you have a girl who's a quote unquote 5 sleeping with guys who are 7s and 8s, a lot of times she goes, oh, that's my standard. That's where I am in this marketplace landscape or whatever. And so the average guy who's also a 5, maybe even a 6, seems unattractive now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, to be honest. That makes sense.
And I think, like I said, guys can use money and attention to kind of bat out of their league, so to speak, but there are less wealthy, rich men who can just afford to do that. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of men who will take easy sex from women they wouldn't consider. And so this happens a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's not nice to say, but it's true. And this is why one of the things I always say to women is being able to recognize the difference between sexual attention and romantic intention. You know, is a guy just interested in you for the physical, or is he actually investing in you and getting to know who you are and spending that quality time with you?
How do you tell that difference there? How can you tell someone's intentions?
Does he spend time with you where sex is off the table? Really, that's it. If you ask yourself that question, it'll be very clear whether the guy you're dealing with is actually into you or just indulging in you. And there's a very big difference. So like coming over Netflix and chill, if those are all your dates, Netflix and chill dates, you don't know if he's investing in you. You don't know if he's serious about you. But can he meet with you for lunch where you go separate ways after? So, oh yeah, let's grab lunch. And then, you know, you're going to go do something else. Or, oh, let's go to this gallery. You know, let's look at the art. Let's chat about it. You know, we can see each other, get to know each other a bit, and then you go separate ways. That's a guy actually investing in you. Because men and women invest differently.
Okay, I'll do that. So
women invest with their sexual time, but men invest with their non-sexual time.
Oh. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like this is a scenario I always give. Which girl is this guy taking seriously in this scenario?
Okay.
The girl who he spends a weekend with, right? They go on walks together, play board games together, maybe they read together. But maybe nothing physical actually happens, but they spend that time together. Or the girl that he goes around her house Friday night, they have sex, and he leaves the following morning.
Obviously the first one.
Exactly. Now, if we switch it, which guy is this girl taking seriously? The guy that she spends the weekend with, maybe he helps her move some furniture, right? Maybe they, you know, grab a coffee and stuff, but nothing physical happens. or the guy that she goes around his house Friday night, they spend the night together, right? They sleep together, and then she leaves the following morning.
Which one is the girl taken more seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. The latter.
Yeah. The guy she sleeps with, right?
That's so funny. Yeah, that's really funny. You know, one of my friends like years ago, she her and this guy she was seeing, they'd had sex and stuff, and then he kind of just like parred her off, it felt like. And then he got back to her like 3 months later. He texted her and she told me, and I was like, you know, go on a date with him, it's great, but do not have sex with him. Do not have sex with him. I don't care what you have to do. Don't drink, just don't do it. And she had sex with him and he parred her off again. I was like, are you serious?
Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think men can just see if they have access to you a lot of the time. Maybe is it an ego boost? I don't really know.
It definitely validates him, yeah.
Yeah.
Because women are the gatekeepers to physical intimacy, her saying yes is not an investment in her, it's a yes to him. It's a validation to him that he's the kind of guy who can get women, right, physically. But him saying, I commit to you, that's validation for you as the woman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Him getting on one knee proposing, that's validation. Because like, wow, he wants to commit his life to me, commit to me, all of this stuff. But yeah, I guess you've never had that issue though. You never had that issue.
No, I did. I actually think I was in this situation once, where I do think the guy I was with was just kind of invested in that way sexually.
Yeah.
So I blocked him, and then
so I killed him. He's now dead.
And then he emailed me for like 6 months, and then he was ready for a relationship. Then
he emailed you.
Yeah.
He emailed you.
He emailed me.
What did he say in the email?
You know, let's go get sushi. Let's go do this. I'm sorry. He, you know, sent flowers to my house.
I have a feeling that you are quite like you can switch and be like, I am so about you, but you can be cutthroat and be like, once you've decided that now I'm done, like that person is dead to you.
It takes a lot of willpower. And I just think maybe more women need to have a bit more willpower. Sure. When I cut this person off, I was so in love with him. It was so hard. Really? Yeah. We got together. I said, if he emails me for 6 months, I'm going to give him another chance.
Is that what you said?
I gave it 5 months because I was really in love. Do you know what I mean?
So as in, if he emailed you every month for 6 months,
I know people won't agree with this. I think it's a bit.
No, go for it.
You know, if you block someone, you're clearly setting a boundary. But yeah, so he tried to contact me in so many ways, and I would just be like, no, absolutely not. You've wronged me for whatsoever reason. You violated one of my non-negotiables, so we are done.
What was the non-negotiable?
The non-negotiable was basically he said he'd broken up with his he saw his ex-girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
okay.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that was the non-negotiable that he violated.
So he did try and get you back though.
Yeah, he did.
And you didn't take the bait. You didn't bite it.
I was done.
What? So why? Because it sounds like he was trying to do what you said you wanted him to do.
Yeah, I just like second chances. Like, oh, I'm not really sure about them.
That's what I mean. You're cutthroat. It's like second chances. No.
But I wanted, honestly, like it was such a hard 6 months, and I remember that's when I went on Bumble actually. So it was even worse. I went on Bumble, and then no one even wanted to match with me. I was so close to messaging him. I would go out and I wouldn't even drink because I knew if I had a drink, I may message him. Right. It was so much willpower. I was completely in love with this person. And, you know, I hold my own. Like, I don't care if you have to cry yourself to sleep at night. Do not text the person. Make sure they learn their lesson. And it got to like 5 months. And I was like, you know what? You've learned your lesson. Let's go on a date. Like, he introduced me to his parents on the date.
Oh, so you did meet with him again?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second date, I was like round his parents' house. You know, he's basically buying us a house. By like week 3, I got everything just by executing that willpower, I think. Do you know what I mean?
If you don't have to say it, is this your current?
Yeah.
Interesting. What did...
Hope he doesn't watch this.
I hope he watches this. What did you learn from that experience?
What did I learn from that experience?
Yeah.
How much self-control I can have, which is just so important. You need self-control.
But also how much self-control serves what you want.
Yeah. But every time I was saying like, oh, you know, I really want to text him, I thought to myself, if I text him, he won't value me. He won't think I'm serious about this. I will ruin it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
So to be honest, like, it's going to be hard if he doesn't text me if he doesn't try and get me back for 6 months. But, you know, if he doesn't try that, he was, you know, not the one for me anyway. So it was incredibly difficult. It really was. But, you know, I just thought if I text him now, you know, and I've had like 2 drinks, and I'm like, yeah, let's go get sushi or something. That's what he always used to ask, like, say, let's go for sushi. It was so weird.
Yes.
Then he's just going to think, yeah, I screwed this woman over, and you know, I can just send a few emails and send some flowers.
I just love the emails. I just love that it just seems so emails. Professional.
It's so funny.
Sent me a letter from the HMRC.
Yeah.
With a notice, you know, that's how he got my tax rebate back for me, like all of this stuff. That's so interesting. It's so...
So when my like friends are considering like texting a guy who's like wronged them, I'm like, you're ruining your own. You say you like this person, you're about to ruin everything.
Yeah.
Because
that self-discipline is important.
Yeah, it's so hard.
It's important. How did you get to a point where you could have that level of discipline for yourself? Because obviously it's really served you in more than one ways, but... Yeah.
I just think like self-control for me is the most important thing ever. Like I've lacked a lot of self-control like in my in my life before, and self-control is so important to me now.
Okay.
So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear that for sure.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.